please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's it. Well,
Before we go into the regular program, I want to welcome Rob Picotello, who has joined the board, and welcome him and thank you for your service and volunteering for such. Two of our colleagues this will be their last board meeting, Kerry Anderson and Lynn Jordan, and I'd like to take a moment to wish them well. For you. Thank you so much for your service. Lynn has been on the board since 2007, and she will have some remarks at the end. Hopefully they're not too scathing. But she has served this district for a long time. She has been vice president of the board. She has been truly both a professional friend and became a friend, and I cherish that. She has always been the counselor, if you will, on the board that any one of us could speak to. She also was the historian because she saw how this school district was doing. On behalf of the Board of Education, Mount Sinai School District, I present you with this plaque. Thank you so much for your service. Okay. Gordon will do with the superintendent's report next.
Would you join me below? Bob mentioned there'll be a lot of changes happening, new faces here, and I think it's appropriate we kind of do a yearly wrap-up, a reflection back on the year. In many ways, it was a successful year, and the great thing about being at Mount Sinai as a superintendent is that I discovered 5 years ago, it seems to be we have accolades coming in constantly in 3 different areas: academics, arts and music, and in athletics. And I'm just going to reflect on them tonight. I will tell you personally, we have edited this thing till the cows come home, because when I asked principals and directors for input, I received so much, it would have been way too long. And knowing it's 75 degrees in here, you wouldn't want to hear all of it, but it is all positive, and we look forward to great things moving into the future. So these are accolades. As I put it, we got 3 A's in these areas this year, and I'll show you what my evidence is. But the most important thing for any school district is we just got the report, all school buildings are in good standing, and more importantly and significant is our high school again was named a recognition school. The old title was Reward School. I believe this is 6 years in a row. 2 years ago, we received a letter stating that congratulations, you're one of 6 schools on Long Island that was named a Reward School 4 years in a row. We keep that tradition going. First day, Now again, I want to warn you, we had to edit this. Am I going to cover every accomplishment? No. Is every student going to be named? No. We had a lot of athletic dinners and other significant dinners in math and science where the kids were celebrated. We had district dinners. So none of all of that's here. This is a snapshot. I need to emphasize that for people at home who are not here this evening, because they're going to be saying, you didn't mention my son's or my daughter's accomplishment or her name. But I'm saying a brief snapshot of our accolades this year. First, academics. Thing I'm proud of, if you look at the list of schools our kids are attending, this year, it's a snapshot of those schools. But the irony is, I looked at that list tonight and I said, 3 kids are from Cornell. They're not, Cornell's not listed, but at least it's represented by their shirts. I did verify the information. We have more kids attending Ivies this year than any year in the past. In 2016, we had 5. This year we have 6. We have 3 in Cornell, 2 in Columbia, and 1 at Brown. I think that is a great representation of our kids' achievements. Going into the elementary area of academics, what Columbia Reading and Writing has done for us, and leveled reading, is we can track our kids and how well they're doing with reading and writing. Fontes and Pinnell, we see how advanced they go from level to level. We have evidence of their success. We try to promote academic success at the elementary level because we do pick a reader and a writer of the month. Cute little kids, I take those pictures with great care. But my son read Corduroy, it seems like yesterday, it was a long time ago. And on the right, you will see our spelling bee winners. We're very proud of their certificates. We have our math students of the month. Mr. Kaplan on the left, our director of math, Andy Matthews on the right, proud of these kids. This is based on their homework record and how much time they do doing extra math work at night. So it's a total for the month. Again, more kids get honored and motivates more kids to perform. We move to the middle school level, where these kids on top, the 7th graders, the trophies on the right, in their division, in the county, they came in first. The 8th graders on the bottom came in second. If you're wondering how many divisions there are 20-something divisions. Middle school, every fall you probably know we have our science fair. A number of kids are sent on, those who are successful in our science fair in the middle school year. We send them on to the Science Congress. And we have had success there. That was in April. This young man, Michael Graffio, won an award for high honors. This is Long Island wide. Long Island wide. And he's a little proud of that trophy. We're proud of him. Ken Way was picked by the high school science teachers as our strongest science student. Then he was honored at the 44th Annual Awards Dinner in May. And because he gets to pick his favorite science teacher, he picked John Majorca, a physics teacher, who accompanied him that night. Great honor for the teacher. Math. Pretty significant. Picture there is a superstar on our staff, Gary Kulick, and the math winners. This team, there are 6 students there. It's a team made of 10th to 12th graders. They finished 5th in their division of 26 teams. And it's important to mention Aaron Angris is a high scorer in the math of the county. Then we had Lawrence Kai, first place, level 2 in geometry. Very proud of that. Then if you read down a little lower, very significant, 9th grade math team was first place in their division. Incredible. That was academics. Let's look at our second A, the arts. Please look on the left. We're very proud of that. The gold awards we won at NISMA. gets better all the time. You'll see 3 gold distinction, very hard to achieve, and 5 gold medals. The thing I learned, Larry helped me with it, to make NYSSMA all-state, you have to get a perfect score on your NYSSMA performance. Correct me if I'm wrong, Larry. Then you take a test for all-state, and these judges give you the test. You have to get 100 on that test, step 2, and then they weigh that 100 to get selected for all-state. Extremely rigorous. If you get 1 or 2 in a high school, which I'm used to in my past, we have 3 who went through that rigor and were recognized, that area. You can see the amount of students honored in the other areas on the left. I think it's important to point out on the right side, as Larry told me, for a very small district, that many students recognized in high school, middle school, by the Suffolk County music administrators is amazing to have that many kids. But as I tell you, the news comes in all the time. This is recent news that I didn't have. The Juilliard pre-college program, Juilliard. We have 3 students, Joshua Kai, Lindsay Campiano, and Michaela Tafariello. Incredible. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
Incredible. Then, more recent, we just found out that Josh Kai has been accepted into the 2019 All-National Orchestra. That's a tradition he's maintaining. If you remember, Claire Kai last year, Emily Mantone the year before. So we're still represented. That's an amazing honor because they don't just perform here, they perform out of the country as well. But the National Orchestra, very proud. Art, the upper left, how often do you see an art student be featured at the Long Island Museum in Stony Brook? Down below, and Larry, I thank you for bringing our kids and having them compete like this. At 5 Towns College, our students, photography students, showed their work. 5 of our students down below, you'll see, got Best in Show. 2 of them also got a blue ribbon. Let's look at what FBLA did in business. In the state competition, our FBLA does well every year. But what we have is in entrepreneurship, we got 2nd place. We got 2nd place in business calculations, but in this state, we got 1st place in sports and entertainment management. They did quite well. Down below, virtual enterprise, which we just started 2 years ago, received some honors and recognition. The Sol Energy, that's the product the company is sponsoring. Won a gold rating for their booth design. But what I didn't know, and I learned again, we learn all the time, Anna Saros received we didn't want to put the amount, but I will say a very generous scholarship at LIU, where she'll major in business. But one of the requirements for that is to have at least 1 year of virtual enterprise. We have to let more students know about that and spread that scholarships are available through that avenue. And then, as you probably know, virtual enterprise, and how many districts on Long Island do you think, Larry, or Suffolk County?
Quite a lot. Nassau and Suffolk County, I would have to say at least 50.
And countrywide,
Oh,
worldwide?
400.
400. We were named in the top 150 firms worldwide in Mount Sinai only 2 years old. So we're proud of that. Moving on to athletics. This area we really had to work on and tone down a little bit because it was another great year for athletics. Fall season, we start out strong with varsity girls cross country. They're undefeated League 6 champions. And our football team came back strong. Also Division 4, Big 4 champions. Track, we've heard about track all year long. It started in the winter. Varsity boys winter track, 2019 Suffolk County champions. The cheerleaders did it again. Long Island champions, New York State champions, and national champions. And varsity wrestling, second year in a row, won the New York State Division II dual meet wrestling upstate. And then I list 4, those students deserve recognition as Suffolk Division II wrestling champions. I would also like to mention Matt Armstrong, won Coach of the Year 2 consecutive years in wrestling. On the right-hand side, it continues through the winter. Matt Campbell, again, mention his name because it's a school record. In wrestling, he won his 151st career win, which breaks the school record that stood for 23 years. Girls winter track, 2019 Suffolk County Small School Champions. Varsity girls basketball, 2019 Suffolk County champs, 2019 Small School Champions. I need to mention this name too. I was fortunate enough to be there present when Gabby scored her 1,500th point here in our gym, but there are 4 games after that where I'm sure she scored about 120 more before she left. And Gabby's going to Brown. She's also an outstanding lacrosse player. Spring season, it continues the track. Varsity boys tennis won the league. You go to track, league, 7 undefeated champions, Division III champions, and that is the second year in a row, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Second year in a row, and out of the Suffolk boys team that went to states, 43 athletes, 27 of them were Mount Sinai.
Incredible. Varsity girls track, league 7 undefeated champions, Division III champions, that's second year in a row for them too, I believe. And then varsity boys lacrosse, Division II, undefeated champions. I'm really proud of this slide because almost never will you see 19 teams with scholar athletes on 19 teams. What is a scholar athlete? How does a team qualify? 75% of the teams maintain a total combination GPA of 90%. So they're not only athletes, they're excellent students. 19 teams. There were too many to list and too many students' names, so many individual accolades for our students' titles. All league, all county, all Long Island, all state, all American. LeBeau Award, Face-Off Specialist of the Year. Position Players of the Year, Delegate Award, Suffolk Zone. These are recent. National Record Holder, Newsday's Runners of the Year, Suffolk County MVP Awards, Newsday Elite Runner of the Year, and we also we forgot, was the Channel 12 All Long Island Scholar Athlete. It's not just athletics, it's the grades level. Pete.
Gordon, I apologize for interrupting, but just kind of it goes along with this. It was something just announced over the weekend. Newsday has a spring sports top 10 for every sport in the spring for all Long Island. And the girls track team in Mount Sinai was the top sport in the spring for all of Long Island this year.
Amazing. Thanks, Pete. Thank you for that. And along with great teams and scholar athletes, someone has to drive them to get those grades and perform. Look at the number of coaches of the year. And I just mentioned Matt Armstrong to that list. But I defy any district to have that many on staff or coaches of the year. Another thing to be proud of. It's not in my program, but it talks about a district. This year, I had the honor of speaking about 5 Eagle Scouts and present them with their Eagle Scout Awards. I will mention again a small district, but to have 5 Eagle Scout recipients in one district in 1 year is mind-blowing. Year before we had 2, and that's just kids in our district. There were more who were from other districts.
So we're from other troops, but they attend their district. So there was a 6.
6. 1 school. Again, where I worked before as principal, if I had 1 per year, that's what I had, not 5. It says a lot about the makeup of our community and our students to achieve that outstanding award. So, another good year. I'll be presenting actual reading results in the very distant future, and then, of course, we'll be getting our Regis results, AP results, and we'll report on those as well. But I'm sure they will reflect what I just showed you this evening, another good year in those 3 A's, those 3 areas. Board?
I will manage this myself.
It appears that this is going in a very good direction. We'll start with our regular business, and there are 2 points. Roman numeral 4, if you have questions with regards to matters on the agenda. And then at the end, if you have any questions, you may present them at that time. Steve, will you take approval of the minutes?
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the minutes of the May 14, 2019 budget hearing, regular meeting, and the May 21st, 2019 annual budget board election as submitted.
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Any comments? All in favor? Any questions on the items on the agenda? Personnel, Lynn.
Okey-doke. Tenure appointments. Tenure appointment for Julianne Brzezinski. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby grants tenure as follows. In math, August 27, 2019, professional certification. And are you here?
Way in the back of the dark.
Come on, stand up so we can applaud you, everyone.
Second that?
Any comments? All in favor? Thank you, Julianne.
She's one of ours.
She grew up here.
Yes.
Good. Number 2.
Tenure appointment, Kate Connor. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby grants tenure as follows. To Kate Connor, elementary, August 27, 2019, as a professional.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor? Is Kate here?
Yeah.
In the dark? Stand up. Rob, number 3.
Tenure appointment, Deborah Santoro. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby grants tenure as follows. Tenure area elementary. Date of tenure, August 27, 2019. Certification status permanent.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ed. Any comments? All in favor? Ms. Santoro, please stand. Carrie? Tenure appointment, Larry Roberts.
Tenure appointment Larry Roberts. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby grants tenure as follows to Larry Roberts as Director of Music and Applied Arts on August 27, 2019, and certification status is permanent.
May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor?
Madam Clerk, please note my opposition.
And that carries. Larry, please stand. Number 5, Terrence Riley.
Tenure appointment, Terrence Riley, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of the Board of Education hereby grants tenure as follows. Terrence Riley, psychologist, August 27th, 2019, permanent.
May I have a second?
Second.
You don't have to rush for it. Don't get paid for it. Any comments? All in favor? B, elimination of full-time position. Steve?
Elementary teacher. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby moves that one full-time position in the tenure area of elementary education be eliminated effective July 1st, 2019. And it is further resolved that the full-time employment of Laura Trikoris, I apologize if that's incorrect, be accessed effective July 1st, 2019.
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Any comments? All in favor? Lynn, resignation or dismissal, number one.
Number one, resignation, District A. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Aaron Lackios, School District Aide, effective June 1, 2019.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gary. Any comments? All in favor? Number two, Ed, resignation, school district aide.
Resignation, school district aide. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Lori LaForge, school district aide, effective May 11th, 2019.
May I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Pete. Comments? All in favor? Dismissal of computer technician, number three. Rob.
Resolved upon the recommendations of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the dismissal of the probationary employee Joseph Shabano, network and computer technician, effective June 7, 2019.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. Any comments? All in favor? D, appointments. Gary, special education teacher Stephanie Gully.
Stephanie Gully, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following probationary appointment to Stephanie Gully on August 28th, 2019. Expiration of appointment will be August 27th, 2023, as a special education teacher at Step A MA, and her certification status will be initial.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ed. Any comments? All in favor? Stephanie Gordon. All right, cheering squad, please feel free to
Stand up.
Number two, Pete, special education teacher Melissa Rooney.
Number two, special education teacher Melissa Rooney. Name of employee Melissa Rooney. Appointment date August 28, 2019. Expiration of appointment August 27, 2023. Area special education. Step A, BA. Certification status is initial.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor? Is Melissa with us tonight? No. We'll clap now. E, substitute teachers, back to Steve.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following appointments. Danielle Rufola, date of hire June 5th, 2019, as a substitute teacher at $111 per day compensation. Want to do that separately?
No.
Second is Ashley Sider, date of hire May 28th, as a substitute teacher at compensation of $111 per day.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor? Lane coaching appointments, you have to read all of them, this is your last time. No.
There are only two. Guys, pick us.
Go ahead.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following appointments. Varsity cheerleading assistant, Matthew, don't know. Steiner? Okay. Step one, and JV boys soccer, Raul Munoz, step one.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ed. Any comments? All in favor? Ed, substitute custodian text.
Substitute custodians text. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following appointments as listed.
May I have a second?
I second that.
Any comments? All in favor?
One comment, Madam Clerk, please note my abstention for Jackson Law.
You know that?
You might know him.
No.
All in favor? Rob, action items educational.
You want me to read all of them?
We could do that just. All new members have seen it. No, just note as listed.
Committee on Special Education, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education has no objections to the following special education recommendations and includes the authorization for the funds to implement the special education programs and services consistent with such.
As listed.
As listed.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in, any comments? All in favor? B, summer school, middle school. Carrie, please.
Sure. Summer school, middle school, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby authorizes a summer school program for grades 7 and 8 in math and ELA and appoints the following persons to fill the necessary positions. The program will be held Monday through Thursday, July 1st through August 9th, 2019. Compensation will be as per the teacher's contract for instructional and on a prorated basis as the teacher's contract for non-instructional positions as listed.
As listed. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor? B, action items, business A.
A, memorandum of agreement, Administrators Association, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the memorandum of agreement for the Director of Facilities with the Administrators Association dated June 11, 2019.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? B, memorandum of agreement, Administrators Association. Steve.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves a memorandum of agreement, building management with the Administrators Association dated June 11, 2019.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Any comments? We'll just add, because I forgot to on the other one. A was an enhanced retirement plan that is being used to define specific dates of retirement. And B is part of our strategic plan to render the principals directly in charge of all aspects of their ability. All in favor? I'll correct. A is Scott Ray's Director of Facilities. That one is Mr. Ray has taken on the additional duties with regards to field and outside operations.
He's a glutton for punishment.
Frankly, he's done a great job. Phenomenal look around for him. And did we vote on B?
No.
Okay. C,
Inspectors of Election Assistant Clerks. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby appoints ex post facto the following persons to act as inspectors of the election assistant clerks for the budget vote board election that was held on Tuesday, May 21st, 2019, at the rate of $13 per hour. Michael Vogel and Claire McWade.
may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? Both can share in that. All in favor? D, Ed Eblar.
Edlar, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves a maximum of $500,000 appropriation be expended from the Edlar Fund to satisfy terminal payments due retiring district employees.
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Any comments? EBLAR stands for Employee Benefits Fund. It is our method of preparing for retirement and compensating them as opposed to doing it all at once. We prepare for that over the years. All in favor? EBLAR E.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following motion as follows.
Whereas the district has determined that they have contractual obligations to pay for the value of compensated absences to certain employees separated from the district In accordance with current agreements and memoranda, the district has also determined that it would be fiscally responsible to fund for those obligations in accordance with the Employee Benefit Accrued Liability Reserve, EBLAR, as authorized by the General Municipal Law, Section 6-P. The Board of Education hereby authorizes the district to fund EBLAR in the amount not to exceed $500,000. Campus has reading legalese.
I'll second that.
Any comments? All in favor? Kerry? F?
Sure. What does it say for me?
New York State
Nice.
Employees that are.
Yes.
Oh, it does, I thought it was a different, nice, I wasn't trying to say that. Reserve contribution, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby authorizes the amount to be funded in the retirement reserve fund for the 2019-20 school year shall not exceed $500,000.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ed. Comments? All in favor? G, P, regular board meeting dates.
G, regular board meeting dates. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby designates the following dates as regular meetings of the Board of Education for the 2019-20 school year as listed.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kerry. Comments? Just a note, on June 9th, 2020, Tuesday, we do a Tuesday based on the time from the budget vote, in case we have to revote and have another budget hearing. You may have experienced that when we adjourned this, we had this meeting moved to tonight, so that we could accommodate our staff additions, as interviews will be completing at the end of the year. All in favor? 2020-2021 reorganization.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby designates Wednesday, July 1st, 2019, as the date of the 20...
That's for next year.
It's for fine, correction, sorry. Wednesday, July 1st, 2020, as the date of the 2020-2021 reorganization.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Aye, breakfast, lunch prices.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following breakfast lunch prices for the 2019-20 school year as follows. And they're listed below.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ed. Any comments? All in favor? J, Ed, out-of-district late bus transportation.
Out-of-district late bus transportation. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby extends the out-of-district late bus service transportation contract for the 2020-21 school year to Acme Bus Corporation at the May 2019 Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, New York, Northeastern, New Jersey area.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kerry. Any comments? All in favor? K, district transportation. Rob?
District Transportation. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby extends the regular transportation, occupational education transportation, in-district handicap transportation, non-public transportation, special education transportation, field trips and athletic trips, contracts for the 2019-20 school year with the first student at the maximum May 2019 Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, New York, Northeastern, and New Jersey area.
May I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor? Kerry, destruction of cast ballots.
Do you want me to read the entire thing out loud?
Much dearest chagrin, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Sorry.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves the following motion. Whereas on May 15, 2018, the Mount Sinai School District conducted its annual budget vote and election, and whereas the district is currently in possession of all cast ballots resulting from such annual budget vote and election, and whereas the record retention and disposition schedule ED1 provides for the destruction of such ballots after 1 year from the date of the annual budget vote and elections, and whereas at least 1 year has elapsed from the date of the annual budget vote an election held on May 15, 2018, and no proceedings have been commenced with regard to such annual budget vote and election, and the finale, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Mount Sinai School District hereby orders the destruction of all cast ballots and unused ballots resulting from the May 15, 2018 annual budget vote and election.
May I have a second?
Second?
Any comments? All in favor? B, obsolete equipment.
M, obsolete equipment, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby declares the following items as obsolete and further authorizes disposal as listed.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor? Steve, lunch contract.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby extends the contract for school lunch with Whitson's School Nutritional Corp. for the 2019-20 school year at an increase of May 2019 consumer price index for all urban consumers in the northeastern New Jersey area.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? O, athletic training services.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves PPT Management LLC for athletic training services for the 2019-20 school year at the rate of $34,272.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Comments? I'll offer a comment with regards to this. This is a very important part of our athletic department. Our trainer deals with and recognizes potential injuries that may occur on the field. One story in particular, there was a game going on, this was a few years ago, where the opposing coach wanted the young man to continue to play. And she is about this tall. She stormed out onto the field and said, no. And he was all upset about it, and she's the one in charge when that comes to it. Turns out the boy had a lacerated lip as a result of an injury on the team. She does a great job. This service provides us with a trainer who is knowledgeable in our athletic needs, prevent injuries, tend to minor injuries on the side of the field, hopefully to resolve that injury. And she does a really, really good job, and I'm most thankful that she is always there. May I have a vote? All in favor? And P, bid awards.
Bid awards. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of Educational Data Services, Inc., in conjunction with the Islands Cooperative bid, it is recommended that a unit price award be made to the following lowest responsible bidders for the 2019-20 school year as listed.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Rob, bid award Q.
Bid award, high school roof replacement, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent and Salvero Belfiore, H2M Architects. The Board of Education hereby awards roofing contract G, including alternate G1, to Moore Consulting Corporation, the lowest responsible bidder in the amount of $791,000.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any comments? All in favor? R, donation.
Yep.
Gary?
Donation, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby accepts the donation of 7 flat screen computer monitors from Patricia and Jason Sedlowski.
May I have a second? Very kind donation. All in favor? S, memorandum of agreement.
Memorandum of agreement, non-instructional unit, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves a memorandum of agreement with the non-instructional unit dated June 19th, 2019.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any comments? All in favor? And questions or comments? How are you?
I'm good. I don't need a microphone. My name is Therese Blanton, I think you all know that, and I just have a little concern, an ongoing concern, and bear with me for a few minutes. I appreciate the ongoing efforts of the Board of Education to try to improve our special education system here in Mount Sinai. But I just want to point out a few things to you that have happened just since May 6th, as it pertains to my son Luke. On May 6th, I received a letter from the Pupil Personnel Office alerting me of his meeting, which would be held on May 22nd at the Three Village School District. On Monday, May 20th, I called the Pupil Personnel Office and said, I have no test results, I have no reports, I have nothing. You're out of compliance, where are my reports? And Ann, who's always wonderful over there, said, can you stop by on your way home and pick them up? And I said, of course, Ann, I'll stop by and pick them up. So on Monday, May 20th, I picked up Luke's annual reevaluation for speech and language services. On Wednesday, May 22nd, I had my annual review meeting with Ms. Sanajev and his team from Ward Melville High School at Three Village. It went well. Luke has had a wonderful year at Ward Melville and at BOCES. Then on Friday, June 7th, I received in the mail an IEP. And I'm going, why am I receiving an IEP now? They usually don't come until August or something like that. On that IEP, it listed Luke's placement as an other public school district. And I'm thinking, oh, that's really strange, because at his meeting, Luke expressed the interest, and I seconded his interest, that he be able to attend BOCES full day next year and discontinue the cross-contract with Three Village School District. Ward Melville High School has done a wonderful job for my son, but there's nothing left for him to learn there. He needs to be in a placement where he can learn life skills and functional academics, and that's exactly what BOCES will do for him. So on Friday, June 7th, I got this IEP listing other public school district with a cross-contract to Three Village School District. On Monday, June 10th, I called Ms. Stanajev and said, I don't understand this. Why do I have an IEP? Why doesn't it talk about BOCES full day? Why are you sending this out now? And she told me that she had to send this out so that she could complete an application process to BOCES. And I'm saying, well, I'm not sure that that's really true. And then further looking at the IEP, when I had her on the phone, I was at our works golf outing that day and had horrible reception. I said, and I see listed on the IEP all of these other things that I should have had before the annual review meeting, other than just the speech language evaluation. Progress report, annual review progress report in math, annual review progress report for English, for Gen Ed, a guidance report checklist, and his annual, there was one other thing, I'll get to that in a minute. So on June 11th, I got a second IEP that stated in the comment section that the student was looking for a full-day BOCES placement. It still had been cross-contracted through Ward Melville School District. And I said, why are we cross-contracting if he's going to be going to BOCES full day? So I said, please send me these other reports that I should have had on May 22nd, that I really should have had 5 school days before his meeting, out of compliance, because, as much as you're trying to fix special ed, it's not being fixed, okay? So then, that's, what was that date? June 11th. June 12th, then I get another. Oh, here's something else we forgot to send to you. Here's his level 1 career assessment, which you all should have had for his annual review meeting. How am I, as a parent, supposed to go into an annual review meeting with nothing, no reports, to be able to speak intelligently? I don't know what's in these things. How can I go in and talk if I don't have any of this information? Had I known that all these other things should have come to me, I would have tabled the meeting. You know what, guys? It's not getting fixed. It's not getting better. It's really not getting better. I did call Mr. Rosdale after I did not receive anything, and I called, right? But you know what? Fair warning. My next phone call will not be to Mr. Rosdale. My next phone call will be to the Long Island Regional Office of the NICED and the Special Education Office requesting the SEQA review. Because this is just ridiculous. If it's happening to me, it's happening to other people. This is not rocket science. You have you know what an annual review meeting is. You know when these papers need to go out. I don't care if it's cross-contract. If you're not getting them from that cross-contract, call them and say, where's this paperwork? The law says 5 days before a meeting, I as a parent should have all this information. It's not happening. I mean, at one of those forum things, one parent said, yeah, it would be nice to have these results before we walk into a meeting. Well, it's still happening. June 12th, 3 weeks after his meeting, and I'm still getting reports that I should have had before the meeting. You know, what's going on here, guys? It's just, yes, all this wonderful achievements in academics, but what are we doing for the least and the lost here? We're not doing any service to them because your special education department is a mess. I just can't say it any stronger than it's a mess. How am I supposed to be able to advocate for my son without any information that I need? It's baffling to me. Baffling. And honestly, my next phone call will be requesting a secret review because I know you're trying to do your part. You said in those forms, yes, get us the reports in time. Well, they're not coming in time.
We appreciate your comments, because that's exactly what we asked.
You know, you work so hard. You work so hard, and in the midst of all of this, I'm applying to Social Security for him, I'm getting Medicaid. You know, it's when you get to this transition age, the number of agencies that you need to work with, you know what? When I say it's been easier to deal with the Social Security Administration than it has been with the Mount Sinai District People Personnel Office, I'm not lying. I've had wonderful results when talking to people from New York State Medicaid or from trying to choose a health plan for Luke. I don't have time for this. Do your jobs. Just do your job and do it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. White. Any other questions or comments? We will ask the superintendent to also follow up on that and report back to us. Thank you. Trying to write things up there. Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? I've allowed, after so many years on the board, Mrs. Jordan, a few minutes to offer some comments.
And he has a hook, which will pull me back if I talk too much. Good evening. Tonight is my last Board of Education meeting after 12 years on the board. I wanted to share with you a couple of my thoughts. First and foremost, my heartfelt thanks to the residents who have supported me all these years. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve on the Mount Sinai Board of Education. Many of the years that I served, Bob Sweeney was the president. Bob is a very intelligent, thoughtful, and caring person. I have learned a great deal from him and Bob. It's been a pleasure to serve with you.
Thank you.
To the board members with whom I have served all these years, thank you for your insight and your dialogue, the dialogue we always had before coming to a consensus. To the new board members, you have much to learn. It will take a year to get through the cycles of the school year. Additionally, board members are expected to follow special codes of conduct, and I wish you a very, very interesting year. The next comment is aimed at my granddaughter, who can't be here because she needs to be in bed and go to school. But it's not just aimed at her. It's aimed at everyone, actually, who's in the audience. And it's about community service. If Emily were here, I would say to her, I want you to see, Emily, your Nana, as an elected representative, even at my age and with all my white hair. Volunteering for your community doesn't stop when you retire. For that matter, it should maybe get revved up a little bit more because these years have been wonderful. So I would encourage her and all young people to give community service. I want her to reach for the stars and never be afraid to try something new. There's nothing wrong with failure. It says that you were brave enough to try. What's next for me? I don't know. But something is coming. I can feel it coming. In the meantime, I will return to the audience as Douglas and I did for so many years, and I will listen, learn, and ask questions. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to serve for so many years. It was amazing, and I loved it. Thank you.
Again, thank you both Kerry and Lynn. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So
I so
moved.
move.
I'll defer to
May I have a second?
Terry, second.
Second.
All in favor? Good evening.